In nature, fierce confrontations don't begin with collision, but with controlling distance before an attack is launched. Every movement has a purpose, where each step of approach gradually creates an opportunity for a quick and precise strike. When pressure is applied at the right moment, even a small misstep can change the entire course of the battle. And when the decisive moment arrives, the attack is brief, and the outcome is already predetermined. In shallow water, crocodiles remain motionless and monitor their surroundings with low energy expenditure. Their survival instincts rely on ambush, quick reactions over short distances, and leveraging the surface of the water. Their heavy bodies and powerful jaws allow them to exert significant pressure in direct contact. However, once out of the water, their spatial control diminishes. Pressure builds as the lions adjust their positions and surround them from multiple directions. When the crocodile opens its jaws, danger is confirmed, and the lions avoid direct contact. The entire pride increases pressure by closing in and feigning attacks from various angles. This constant movement forces the crocodile to twist and turn to maintain its position, gradually destabilizing it on land.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh, no, it's already.
The situation changes when the crocodile realizes the disadvantage and begins to retreat towards the water. The lion doesn't need to deliver a decisive blow. Instead, it maintains pressure to force its opponent to move. As the distance to the water shortens, the crocodile prioritizes escape over continued confrontation. The outcome favors the lion, which controls its position and direction of movement. The difference lies not in strength, but in where the confrontation takes place. Land reduces the crocodile's effectiveness and limits its ability to attack. Conversely, water becomes a strategic safe zone that the crocodile is forced to retreat to. The entire course of events is determined by position from the very first seconds. When the herd moves in a steady rhythm, the lion begins to observe each individual for signs of deviation. Its instinct relies on reading movement, assessing distance, and selecting a suitable target in a short amount of time. It maintains a hidden position and does not rush to approach while the herd maintains a tight formation. When a vulnerability appears, the direction of attack begins to be determined. The distance begins to narrow as the lion shifts from observation to active approach. When the target is forced apart, a mother buffalo charges repeatedly, forcing the lion to constantly adjust its position. Soon after, many individuals in the herd join in, creating counter-pressure and breaking the lion's formation. The attack rhythm is interrupted when the lion loses its initial advantage. The tide turns when the lion can no longer maintain pressure on its initial target. The mother buffalo continued to react relentlessly and did not leave her position, while the herd maintained its protective structure. The original target was no longer isolated, and the distance was restored. In this situation, the lion abandoned its resources to preserve its safety. The entire situation demonstrates that a coordinated response can reverse an initial advantage. The lion may have chosen the right target, but it could not maintain pressure when the herd reacted in unison. The decisive moment came when the buffalo herd entered the fray and reversed the situation. The outcome did not come from the initial attack, but from the collective response.
Attempted hunt, Bruce. Got it.
At the land-water junction, hippos maintain a stable presence and control the surrounding area. Their bodies, which can exceed 3,000 pounds, help them maintain a firm position at close range. Their instincts rely on quick reflexes, strong jaws, and area control. When distance narrows, they are ready to charge to create initial pressure, making every approach carefully calculated. Lions move low from the blind spot and maintain formation as they approach. When close enough, the hippo charges to shock, but the lion doesn't disperse completely, adjusting its position to maintain the pressure circle. The hippo continuously rotates, its mouth wide open in defense, while the lion avoids danger zones and maintains a rhythmic approach from multiple directions. The situation shifts dramatically when the hippo can no longer maintain its initial area control. Lions don't need to engage directly. Instead, they maintain pressure, wearing down their opponent's energy. In this situation, defeat comes from losing composure and being forced into a defensive position, with the water source becoming the ultimate target. In areas with low grass cover, rhinos maintain a state of alertness through their highly sensitive hearing and sense of smell. They can detect movement and scent within close range, despite limited vision. Their bodies, which can exceed 5,000 pounds, help them maintain a stable position and create significant pressure when moving. At the first sign of danger, they are ready to turn and charge. So any approach must be discreet. Approaching loses its advantage as the rhino quickly determines the direction of movement. When the distance is close enough, the rhino detects the rhino and immediately charges, forcing the lions to scatter to avoid a direct confrontation. A lion may try to remain near the food source, but when the rhino gets close, it is forced to leave. The rhino continues to maintain pressure and control the entire area. The advantage quickly shifted to the rhinoceros as the lion lost its initial position. No sustained direct attacks were possible due to the overwhelming power disparity. In this situation, the rhinoceros maintained control of the space, while the lion accepted the loss of resources. The final decision didn't come from fighting, but from choosing to retreat at the right moment. When the environment is stable, elephants maintain a highly accurate long-term memory-based perception. They remember routes, water sources, and even previous encounters in the same area. Their instincts rely on assessing their opponent and adjusting their response based on accumulated experience. When signs of tension appear, the distance is controlled and narrowed. Two individuals charge head-on and collide at close range. The younger individual attacks first, using speed and continuous pressure to gain an initial advantage. The older individual maintains its position, absorbs the force, and uses its weight to push back, causing the opponent to lose balance. The collisions are short but rapid, with each side constantly adjusting to the other's reaction. The situation becomes clear when the younger individual can no longer maintain its initial attack rhythm. The older individual doesn't pursue, but instead maintains control of the space. In this situation, the individual who maintains better strength and control holds the advantage. Experience determines the outcome, not the initial attack. In open grassland environments, buffalo maintains spatial awareness by constantly monitoring surrounding movements. It reacts quickly to changes and adjusts its position to avoid risk. Its survival instinct relies on maintaining distance and adapting to the situation. However, when faced with a greater threat, its reaction time may be insufficient. Elephants proactively approach from close range and do not conceal their direction of movement. When the distance is short enough, they accelerate and charge directly at their target with overwhelming mass. Buffaloes do not have enough time to dodge and are directly impacted. The force of the impact causes them to completely lose their balance and be pushed from their original position. The advantage is established immediately after the collision, as the buffalo can no longer maintain its stability. Elephants stop after applying pressure and do not continue the pursuit. In this situation, it wasn't predatory behavior, but rather instantaneous physical dominance. The decision stemmed from the size difference and a reaction too quick for the opponent to adapt. In the slow pace of the area, hyenas gradually appear as a well-structured and stable group. Each individual observes the position of its pack members to adjust its direction and avoid separation. Its instinct relies on numbers and synchronized reactions to exert pressure on the opponent. When a threat is detected, the entire group quickly shifts its state, and therefore the approach must be carefully calculated. The distance shortens when the lion actively adjusts its direction and moves into the pack's movement area. When the distance is close enough, it accelerates briefly and heads towards the nearest individual to break the encirclement structure. The hyenas surround but do not approach closely, maintaining distance to avoid direct confrontation. A rapid approach disrupts the coordinated rhythm and forces the group to constantly adjust its position. The situation reverses when an individual hyena loses its ability to maintain its position and separates from the group's rhythm. The lion didn't need to maintain a prolonged attack. It simply applied enough pressure to create psychological space. The hyena pack slowed down and retreated to restore a safe distance. In this situation, the advantage shifted to the lion, having broken the initial stability. The result clearly reflects how a single individual can disrupt the entire structure of a group. When herd mentality is disrupted, numerical advantage is no longer effective. The lion didn't need to pursue multiple objectives, but focused on controlling space. The outcome was shaped by its ability to apply pressure at the right time and disrupt the opponent's coordination. During a prolonged migration, wildebeest maintain a steady rhythm and order within the herd. Each individual follows the general direction, adjusting their distance and reacting to surrounding signals. This survival strategy, based on synchronization, reduces risk over long distances. When the herd rhythm becomes disrupted, the role of each individual becomes crucial. Lions follow the direction of movement and patiently wait for the opportune moment to approach. When the distance is close enough, the two coordinate, one maintaining position while the other increases pressure to quickly destabilize the target. The wildebeest shifts from movement to confrontation, lowering its head and charging straight to break the control. A hook from its horns to its leg disrupts the coordinated rhythm and forces the lion to change its stance. The situation shifts when the wildebeest creates space and escapes the dangerous range. The two lions lost their coordination and were unable to maintain the initial pressure. A well-timed counterattack allowed the prey to escape the predicament. The result was a decisive hook that shattered the entire previous attack structure. When confrontations end, the outcome doesn't come from the final moment, but from the entire process of control and adaptation. Each species holds an advantage in its own way, but only the right decisions at the right time make a clear difference. In nature, survival doesn't belong to the strongest, but to the one who controls the situation better. In nature, strength doesn't always determine the outcome. There are prolonged confrontations where pressure, tactics, and perseverance gradually change the course of events. Hyenas don't rely solely on physical strength. They operate as an organized system, and when facing different opponents, how they control the situation becomes clear. Hyenas rarely back down. They don't stand by and watch. They're usually the first to enter, placing themselves at the center of unpredictable situations. This is characteristic of a species accustomed to operating under pressure and knowing how to maintain the upper hand. The spotted hyena, a prime example, can weigh around 190 pounds and stand nearly 3 feet tall at the shoulder. Its body may seem disproportionate, but it possesses an optimal structure for endurance and control. Its jaws are among the strongest of any mammal, allowing it to maintain an advantage in prolonged situations. But the hyena's true strength lies not only in its physical prowess. Within each pack, which can number over 80 individuals, there is always a clear order led by the females. Each individual functions as part of a system where decisions are not random, but are shaped by experience and social roles. In open woodlands and savannas, leopards maintain a cautious and precise approach. Each adult can weigh between 80 and 160 pounds, possessing a flexible body and excellent climbing abilities. Instead of relying on sustained speed, they focus on approaching at close range with high precision. Once distance and position are established, the surrounding space begins to shift according to the movement of other elements. From behind, hyenas appear, heading straight for the leopard. They emerge from a suitable distance, maintaining a slow pace and continuously applying pressure. As the hyenas draw closer, others expand their positions, gradually closing off the surrounding space. The stillness is broken. The leopard begins to move, adjusting its position to avoid being pressured from multiple directions. Just a moment of imbalance, and control is lost. It is forced to abandon its position to avoid greater risk. In this type of confrontation, the outcome isn't determined by the initial pace. It comes down to the ability to maintain pressure and control space. As the tempo shifts, the advantage gradually shifts to the more organized side. In the vast grasslands, African buffalo maintain a dense and stable formation. Their thick, curved horns close together like a shield, combined with their heavy bodies and thick hides, creating an impenetrable defense system. Upon receiving a warning signal, the entire herd immediately tightens its distance, shifting to a defensive stance almost instantly. On the outer edges, the hyenas do not attack directly. The hyena pack quickly closes the encirclement, maintaining distance before advancing from multiple directions. Pressure is concentrated on the edges of the formation, focusing on a slow pace. When a gap appears, they simultaneously close in, continuously increasing the pressure, giving the opponent no time to react. The pressure intensifies rapidly within seconds. The separated buffalo gradually loses control and finds it difficult to rejoin the formation. Despite its attempts to maintain its position, it remains isolated within the tightening encirclement. The outcome is decided right there. The hyenas maintain the pressure until the end, gaining the decisive advantage before the herd can re-establish its structure. In the open grasslands, wildebeest move in large herds, sometimes numbering in the hundreds. They maintain close spacing, forming a natural protective barrier, reaching speeds of 43 to 56 miles per hour. They are among the fastest on the savanna. When danger arises, the entire herd reacts almost instantly, accelerating and maintaining formation. That stability doesn't last. A pack of hyenas, already watching, silently observes every movement. They don't charge in immediately. They wait. They wait until the herd's movement reveals a gap. When that moment arrives, movement begins from multiple directions. Hyenas advance, putting pressure on the herd to change direction. Simultaneously, other hyenas close in from the flanks, narrowing the space. The formation of the antelope herd began to waver, no longer maintaining its initial uniformity. The disruption quickly spread. The antelopes lost their rhythm, slowing down by just a moment. But in this environment, a moment is enough. A gap formed, and immediately, all the pressure was concentrated on that point. Lions and hyenas are two species that compete directly for the same living space, both for territory and food. Adult lions have a bite force of approximately 650 pounds per square inch, thick shoulder muscles, and the ability to quickly close the distance. When the distance narrows, pressure is established immediately, and control can shift in a very short time. However, hyenas' approach differs from this solitary approach. Hyenas operate in groups. They expand their formation, clearly defining roles to surround and maintain constant pressure. Some hyenas approach to disrupt, while others maintain the outer perimeter, controlling space and restricting the lion's movements. The confrontation doesn't erupt immediately. Both sides hold their positions, constantly testing each other's reactions and endurance. Pressure gradually increases over time, but remains controlled. Neither side easily breaks through the other's structure. As the risk level increases, the pace slows and the distance widens. The fight ends when both sides leave the area. The lions maintain the advantage at close range, while the hyenas retain their numerical and endurance advantage. When no clear advantage is created, the result is usually a stalemate, with each side retaining its share of control. In the swampy areas, rhinos don't move quickly, but their weight can exceed 4,800 to 11,000 pounds, and their skin, about 2 inches thick, acts as a natural armor. Their vision is limited, but each step is steady. When they sense a threat, they don't retreat. They maintain their direction and are ready to react with short, direct bursts of force. On the edge of the area, hyenas don't approach directly. They keep their distance, moving around and observing the rhino's reaction rhythm. Hyenas get closer to disrupt, while others adjust their positions, applying pressure from multiple directions without disrupting the group's safety. The battle drags on in a tense stalemate. Each time the rhino turns, a gap appears in the opposite direction. The hyenas aren't in a hurry. They maintain their rhythm, waiting for a small deviation in direction. When that moment arrives, the pressure increases dramatically. The formation narrowed, forcing the rhino to constantly change direction to maintain control. Initial stability began to erode. Safe space was shrinking with each movement. There was no decisive blow, only a wear and tear on rhythm and position. Faced with prolonged pressure from multiple sides, the rhino chose to leave the area to avoid being surrounded. On the open grasslands, African wild dogs move at a steady pace. Each individual weighs approximately 40 to 80 pounds, with a compact build and long legs, well suited for long-distance travel. They maintain consistent spacing, allowing for effective coordination. However, this very stability can disrupt their movement under constant pressure. From a distance, hyenas begin to appear from multiple directions. They don't approach directly, but maintain distance, moving in stages to create pressure on the surrounding space. One group approaches to disrupt, while another stays on the periphery, gradually narrowing the wild dog's range of movement. As pressure is maintained, the movement pattern begins to err, gaps form, and coordination diminishes. The wild dogs, with their more stable numbers and ability to maintain a steady pace for longer periods, begin to gain the upper hand. The situation continued until the hyena could no longer hold its original position and was forced to leave the area. Once the rhythm was broken, the advantage shifted immediately. There are no fixed rules for victory. Every encounter is a test of strength, organization, and the ability to maintain formation. The hyenas may press, but even one link holding firm can change the course of the game. When the rhythm is no longer controlled, the outcome will favor the side that maintains stability longer.